I was mugged in Chicago.
I've lost pets and family members.
Pets, family, my keys.
Little pendant. It was a baby pine cone and plated in gold.
I recently lost a friendship.
And it was a ring that had my initials in it.
When I lose something, I've kind of developed this thing where I just put it on the down low, and I don't get emotional about it.
It was made of gold, and my mother gave it to me when I was in middle school.
I remember seeing it on the floor next to my bag at the bar where I was sitting, and then 2 weeks later I realized I didn't have it.
Well, I'm about to turn 26, which at the moment feels like it's over the hill. So in a sense I do feel like an adult, although as I said before, my profession involves wasting a lot of time reading books. It just doesn't feel like something that adults should be doing.
I feel like an adult. I feel like I'm capable of making decisions about my life and sticking to them, or having a balanced sense of what's important to me, of how to listen to myself, how to relate well to the other people in my life.
When you are adult, I mean, you're supposed to know what you're supposed to do, what is the right thing and what is the wrong thing. So that means mature, right? In many ways, not only in what you grow up, but every action that you make a contact with the other people, not only with your own family, that means adult.
I don't know what that actually means, but I have to say I think I've grown up twice. In the sense, once when you go to college, everybody grows up when they go to college.
Right now, absolutely not.
No, I do not feel like an adult.
I don't. I feel like I'm, 10, 12, 23. I mean, I'm going to be 29 in a few months here, so I don't know what kind of standard that I'm supposed to be setting or what kind of role I'm supposed to be in, but I sure don't feel like I'm anywhere close to it.
I do not feel like an adult. I feel like an adult would have some grasp of monetary awareness and wisdom. I feel like an adult has a steady paying job.
I guess I've always imagined being an adult to include, having a spouse and children and being old.
Grown-up person who has a stable job, maybe a family, and no, I don't feel like an adult. I don't feel like a kid, but I don't feel like an adult.
Pay taxes without calling their parents up.
I realize how dependent I am still on my parents, and it nags at me every day, this feeling of dependency.
20-something-year-old, definitely in transition.
I still feel like I'm transient in some way.
But then I worked for a few years, and then I came back to grad school, and then I had to learn how to manage money all over again. And small little things that you never really think of when you are working, and I worked for 5 years before I came to grad school. So it's been a growing experience for me all over again. So I think I'm an adult twice now.
In terms of responsibility, sure. I mean, I've got my bills to pay, I've got myself to support, but I don't know, overall attitude, I think is very youthful, at least what I try to do, in a refusal to grow up kind of way.
The culture of Thai people is different from your Americans. Yeah, our parents still have us in the home until we get married or have a family. And you know what, this is very different. So I mean, I not feel adult until I get my first salary. Even I get my first salary, I still live with my parents because I don't have any family yet, so I don't feel adult at all. But it's different from you guys. I really like American style because when I see you guys work for yourself, to have to pay yourself bill, live alone, separately, independently from the parents, I really appreciate because the look is very different and make one very different. If you know the Thai girls, I mean Thai teenager in the same age as you, and you will know the difference between Thai adult and American adult. That's what I mean.
Right now, I'm happy with where I am. It's not where I want to be in maybe a year or two even, but I understand that, again, I'm in transition from one thing to the next, so I'm happy about where things are going. I don't want to stay at this point in my life for another couple of years.
No, not in Bloomington. I'm trying to move. So like I've definitely outstayed my Bloomington time.
So it's just this mix between enjoying what's going on right now because you'll never get it back again, and trying to move on and find something else, another bubble to kind of fit in for a few years.
I'd like to say that a lot of people are worried about having jobs and like having a way of making a living, but at the same time I see far more people in my life not worried about whether or not they're going to have a job. I think I see them more concerned with doing the thing that they love to do, or having the ability to do the thing that they love to do, or having the time to do the thing they love to do.
Yes, very satisfied. I love the lifestyle of a historian. Teaching, which is essentially my profession now, I get paid to teach, and it comes with a fee remission, so it supports my student lifestyle.
Yeah, I am. And that's kind of an up and down feeling too. Again, just because it's so specialized, and that music is specialized, and composition especially. I mean, who needs a composer anymore? Especially when certain commercial aspects have everything they need as far as a composer. I mean, there's ways to get in maybe that genre, that world, but classical concert stage music, I mean, orchestras have centuries of music that they're going to play. When they schedule a piece of new music, there's always this restriction, it can only be for these instruments, or it can only be this long, and it's going to be put on first so the people who come in late won't miss anything.
Yes, for the most part. I actually, PhD programs are just kind of, the whole business of getting a PhD is quite weird.
Finding jobs, but not just finding jobs, finding meaningful things to do with their lives. I'm not sure why it is, but I feel like that's just, it's become harder. It's become more of a struggle. In the past, it seems like people went to school for a certain reason, had a very specific idea of what they were going to be doing, and did that. And now there are multiple factors, I think, that contribute to how we're not really, I don't know, I don't want to say anything negative because I don't think it's really our fault or a bad thing, but I think it's harder to figure out what you want to do with your life these days.
Well, finding a job, especially for finding a career type job at this point. It's we're pretty much the worst hiring economy since the 1930s. So I mean, I think that's a rough thing. I think that also may end up being a good thing, because I think a lot of people are going to kind of flounder around for a little bit and really figure out what they want to do. Whereas I think 10 or 15 years ago, people would graduate college and just go into a job, and you know what I mean, they just kind of move with the flow, whereas I think now people are going to be forced to kind of adapt.
I do feel pretty satisfied with what I'm doing. I guess I'll know more when I start applying for jobs and seeing if people want to hire me.
Oh no. Hell no. I feel financially insecure. No.
No. I mean, in the sense, you wonder where your next year's funding is coming from. So I know things will work out, and that there will be funding available next year, but it does give you some anxiety.
Right now, I think most people would say the economy is a significant issue, although I think realistically it's more debt which is a problem.
No, I don't feel financially secure at all. Working at Siam House helps that out a lot. Yeah, it's going to be rough in the next 6 months for sure.
I had a job waiting tables until about a week ago. I wasn't exactly fired, but I was told that it was not a priority in my life. And that, you know, I was taken off of the schedule. So that sucked.
Oh, absolutely not. I do not feel financially secure. And again, that's the whole college thing. You know, I'm trying to work as many shifts as I can, but however, you know, loans, you know, I did the whole credit card thing and that went out the window.
I think a lot of people worry about money. A lot of people I know, especially here in Bloomington, work day to day, paycheck to paycheck, or if they're servers, tip by tip, you know. But again, if you're smart and if you can save a little bit here and there, it's not really, you know, a bad day will equal out a good day.
If you like were to cash out all my retirement and apply it to all my debt, break even.
It's not going so well. I mean, there are obviously lots of really good organizations that are doing their part. I don't know. Everyone just wants money these days. The corporations are destroying the environment, and I just feel like, I don't know if it's an American mindset or just people mindset in general. I don't feel like people care enough or are thinking about the future enough.
We live in such a time of great disconnect.
I think the state of the environment is pathetic. I mean, I don't remember any statistics, but I know America just goes through so much bad energy. Our oil intake is out the wazoo, and I don't think we're very conscious of it because we are so materialistic and we just take it for granted. Like, oh yeah, 50 years from now, what's 50 years from now? Right now, I want to drive my Hummer. The fact that we even invented a Hummer and people are driving it, what is going on?
It can be in the nature of our society to dig into earth and to take responsibility for each thing that we use, or you know, I'm taking out loans to go to school. Like, I don't own that money. It's definitely something that I'm asking for without having it. You know? And it's this weird sort of give and take where we seem to be taking more than we give right now.
The environment is the most pressing threat to our society right now.
In a world that we've created that has allowed us to become distant from the things that have for millennia kept us healthy.
Well, I know there's a lot of stress on the environment because of human activities, as well as increasingly, both the industrialized world, which is not cutting down on its, intake, resource intake, if you like, and the developing world, which over the past 20 years or so has been growing at an enormous rate. So there's a lot of stress on the environment for sure, and I believe we have to come up with some sustainable model of economic development.
I'm not a scientist, but I know that we're not doing as much as we can to help preserve it for future generations.
And one of the things that we become disconnected from is our outside environment. I mean, I'm in a house. When I walk around, I wear shoes. When I sit in a chair. All these things that we've designed to keep us from experiencing the world in the way that our bodies were built to experience them.
I don't know how effective it would be with trying to stop bad effects. Like, I mean, I think it's possible for us to, like, curb what we're doing, but I don't think we're doing enough, so it'll probably get worse.
It hurts when you see commercials for fresh fruit packed in plastic cups that, you know, most people aren't going to recycle if they have a recycling program in their area. When, like, they're in the fruit section, like, grapefruits keep for a long time. You don't need to buy it packed in a plastic cup.
The environment is like hot button right now, and I think, no, and I really I was talking earlier about like the balance between people who give a shit and the people who just have to survive and like they have to provide for their families, like they'll worry about the environment later. Those people will die, and I think that, I mean, as everyone will, and and our generation, I think, cares a lot more about the environment. But I don't know if it's just a fad of this last like 4 years that just like it's become a hot button issue and maybe it'll just kind of go away.
I guess the environment would be one of my top concerns.
We are having an impact. What we do day to day, driving cars, flying planes, littering, the way that we handle our trash and everything like that is affecting the climate of the earth and the other species that live on the earth. And it's killing a lot of animals, changing it dramatically. Ultimately, I mean, this is such a odd thing to say, I think, but ultimately the earth will still be here, you know. If we destroy it, we won't be, but the earth will be, you know. And that's just the way it is.
I mean, I need the same thing everybody needs, kind of like financial stability and independence and, you know, secure future. And I guess as a person living today, that's kind of what I need, but it's not what I want. I mean, I'm completely happy being like lowest rung of society, doing what I want and not giving a fuck what everyone else thinks. And, you know, I'm a musician, damn it, and...
Find me a job, like a stick that just, a job stick, and just point somewhere and find it.
I guess the two magical powers I've always wished I could have would either be flying or invisibility.
I think a Harry Potter cloak would be awesome.
I mean, as a grad student, I have a lot to read. I want an object, you know, that I press a button and whatever's written in the book is registered in my memory. I want that right now.
I mean, it sounds cheap and material, but it'd probably be an unlimited ATM. Just because you know, though I say that I'm financially secure, I think the most pressing threat is the sense that I won't be financially secure, or that my money will run out, or that I'll spend more than I have, and it's very easy to get into tragic cycles of debt. I mean, because I don't think that you can have a magical object which brings happiness, but you can have potentially something that relieves material pressures on life. I mean, it's up to me to sort out the rest.
I have this image sometimes of me finishing like my dissertation or something, which is this orchestral piece. And I'm so excited, the whole thing's printed out, it looks perfect, it's bound. And I go to New York City and I find like a corporate skyscraper. And I go all the way to the top office and there's this board meeting of CEOs. And I rush inside with my manuscript. I finished my dissertation. This orchestra piece is finished. You know, what are they going to react? What are they going to say? I mean, like, how'd you get in here?
I think having a college degree right now, I mean, for 18 to 30 it's just ridiculous. While I have learned a lot in my degree, I just think it's just about the paper. And I don't, you know, I do feel like in a sense I've got my money's worth, but in the other sense I have like tens of thousands of dollars in loans, and I'm only doing that so I can get that job. And I just feel like that system is flawed for us, and I think that's just really unfortunate. And I think it's unfortunate for the people that can't afford college, and then, you know, they do go to a school like Ivy Tech, but then it's just like, oh, they went to a community college, then that must say something about their education. And I mean, the education system is just despicable, and I feel like us as youth need to take a stand against that.
Kind of in the current times with budget cuts in schools is the way they're cutting out the music and art programs, especially in the elementary schools.
One of them is definitely gay rights for Americans, for sure. I think it's the civil rights movement of our generation, for sure.
Think about we are different. Actually, we are not different. Some people, like, they almost think about the regions, you know, right? The nationalities. But for me, we shouldn't think in that way. We are all the same.
Related with gay rights, I feel like it's almost kind of the civil rights of our times. It's just heartbreaking that people are so mean to people, and that we're letting religious values rule our secular government.
I'm also concerned about the state of equal rights, if you like. It's an issue very close to me, being a gay man.
Probably poverty or inequality, both in our country and in the world. I think most of our foreign entanglements stem from issues of inequality, even if they have ideological sort of spin attached to it. And I think a lot of our domestic problems, which are often ignored, stem from that problem as well. I mean,
I don't want to be rich. Rich for me it is enough, but maybe for someone else it is not enough. So when I die, when I look back, I just hope that everyone that know me thinking about me in the good way. That's it.
I would just really like to be remembered as someone that's always just try to keep their head high and make the best out of all situations. You know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and I just hope I can keep that force going for the rest of Jesse's life.
It's like, I'm not rich and I never will be, but I can go to the grocery store and buy whatever I want, and that's fine. And I would like to be in that place too, and like have a nice house with nice things in it. And by nice, I don't mean like fancy, but like good quality, or like handmade, like lots of like handmade ceramics and art and interesting items that I don't have to just buy things because they're cheap.
So a successful life once I'm old is one that I can remember and be happy about. All the experiences I've had. I think a mistake that's been made in the last 30 years with capitalism going nuts is that people experience through consuming, and like when a salesperson tells you that you need this and this is to, so a successful lifestyle to me will be one that I can remember experiences I had and not be like left feeling like I fell short just by like consuming things, trying to experience through consuming, and like and being, you know, empty-handed, because it's like your freaking phone doesn't matter. Like
really, a successful life just involves contentment. I think that relationships are important. It's important to have other people in your life in various roles. But you can't necessarily predict what an ideal relationship is going to be like either.
No, it's something pretty close to what I'm living right now, except for with the addition of children and grandchildren.
Knowing that I've made a change in individual people's lives, that's really important to me.
Be the caretaker of more plants, and hopefully I will walk more.
I guess I hope that when I've established a lifestyle after I'm done being a student and making excuses about being a student, I'd really like to be able to integrate sustainability into that. I'd like to have chickens.
Just being as happy as possible, as healthy as possible, to feel like I've accomplished something, whatever that may be.
Having a job that you like, making enough money that you feel comfortable, having good friends and a family, if that's important to you. For me, a lot of that is feeling accomplished artistically.
When you are like, I don't know, 20, 21, you have all these notions of changing the world and you know, making a difference and all of that. You're an idealist back then, but I guess I've learned more and I've become more realistic since, and I want to do my part to teach enough students, and show them my point of view. And I want to write books that are well received, and books and articles, I mean, well received in the academic community, because I don't have any lofty aims of changing the world anymore. But yeah, I do want to make an academic contribution, and I want that to be well received.
Having written enough music to find some kind of voice that meant something to other people, having been a decent enough person that my arrival on the deathbed is not anticipated.
I also like the idea. I feel like there's too much emphasis on multitasking and technology, and I'd really like to have a lifestyle where I can get away from that and I can just enjoy the day for the day and not always have something to think about, and really be able to enjoy reading a book, not needing 3D special effects to enjoy entertainment.
I'm trying to constantly be grateful for and think of what's going on in my life right now, so that I can remember that, and that'll be good when I'm 90, 72, whatever it is. I don't know, when I'm croaking on my deathbed.